Right. Well, good afternoon, Carlos and Chantel here from Epic Your Life, where we create extraordinary. And today we want to share with you some ways to create happiness.
Yes. So, have you heard of the happy hormone, right? Oxytocin. Today we want to talk about, some of the ways that we can access and increase our happy, right? In the midst of stress, in the midst of, chaos, or maybe we're down, maybe we feel, a little bit depressed here and there. So we can physically access an elevating hormone, right? And so we want to give you some practical ways to do so.
One of the things we've noticed, we've worked with a lot of people, mentoring them, and we work with a lot of high-level people. And what we have found that when people operate and work at such a high level, it also brings high stress because you've got high activity, high achievers, and high action. So along with that comes a lot of extra stress, a lot of extra pressure. And so it's important to be able to balance and regulate those things. So,
and I think sometimes, we get going on a mode, right? And we feel like we're just busy, 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 busy. And we don't actually take the time to increase our joy, increase our good feelings, right? We have practical ways in the midst of that we can do that. We just need the awareness. Sometimes we're just not aware of oh, this is a simple thing. So we want to bring you a list of things that you can do. And you pick 3 that you can have on hand that you're aware of, maybe have a list in your phone that you can access, you can do, you can handle, you can, whatever it is that you need to do to gain that, so that you physically can release the happy hormone in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul, to feed that. So,
and oxytocin, those who like definitions like me, is a hormone that is naturally produced in the body and is commonly referred to as the love or happy hormone because it's associated with social bonding, trust, and emotional intimacy.
yes. So, whether you're married, not married, right? Physical touch is one way to get that. So physical touch, if you're, if you're not.
It's my favorite part.
Carlos likes his back scratched, right?
I like the oxytocin, the happiness.
But even, physical touch, holding hands, putting your hand on somebody, a hand on your shoulder will release that physical touch. That the action of physical touch releases the hormone into your system.
And
right?
some of you may be saying, well, I'm not used to that. I wasn't raised around that. My parents didn't do it to me. I'm not familiar with that. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It is very good and very beneficial and very appropriate. So we're not talking about sexual touch. We're literally talking about even just as a friend, even guy to guy, like, hey man, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
Because that does
Actually,
release.
it's even a high five,
That's
right?
right.
So a high five can be it, a fist bump, like all of those. So what you're doing is you're incorporating social interaction with the physical touch, which also is another way to release the hormone. Social interaction. Anytime you create an interaction that is with another person that is uplifting, encouraging, right? Fun, maybe.
Create somewhat of a bond, even like you see those handshakes. And I enjoy watching. I'm not as good as Hazel is, our daughter, our 15-year-old daughter, but she will do handshakes with several of her friends, and they all have their own special handshake with, moves and twists and bumps, even booty bumps sometimes, and turnaround and all this, And so even that creates that bond and releases oxytocin.
Yeah. So the other one, is actual sexual activity with your spouse, right? So it's a great tool to change your state. It's a great activity that both releases the hormone and causes unity and brings things into balance, right? So
And sometimes we hear from couples, like people ask us, well, how much is enough sex? Well,
much is enough.
how much is enough? How much is too much? How often should we be having sex? I've heard those questions before. We've heard them, when we work with couples, and it's real. Like people want to know, and the answer is, how much do you want to have sex? That is truly the answer.
Well,
Because for me, it's really important. And for me, I enjoy a daily dose of it. I'm just saying. And we actually have done challenges like that. We call it the intimacy challenge for married couples and helping them to express and experience it on a daily basis for 30 days. And there's tons of benefits that come out of that, not just oxytocin, but health benefits for the man. And so there's a lot. That's a whole nother topic, but I'm just letting you know that there is really good benefits through the release for a man and a woman both in the sexual release as well.
right. So not only the physical sexual release, but the emotional release that happens in that creation of unity, right? That experience together, if you will. So the next thing is physical activity like exercise. Jump rope is a great exercise that you can do. I've had people who work all day. They're like, I don't have the time to exercise. I don't have a place to exercise. I maybe can go on a walk during my lunch break. You know what I tell them? I said, go into the bathroom and do like pretend jump ropes. You don't even have to have a jump rope, but you get, do it for a good amount of time. Like you do 100 jump ropes in a stall. You can do that. Doesn't matter. You don't have an excuse to not access the hormone that releases as you need it, right? So that's a good way to do it. Physical work activity. Some people like gardening, some like working heavy machinery. Some people like physically moving stuff, getting their hands dirty, whatever it is, that releases oxytocin. Some people like just gardening. I mean, planting stuff, right? It doesn't even have to be a full on garden. So that's a good way. Cleaning. Some people get that release from cleaning and seeing things clean.
And I think part of that too is even the sense of accomplishment. Yeah. When you feel that sense of accomplishing something, you get the release of oxytocin. And it can even be first thing in the morning as a simple activity as making your bed. You've got that ability in the morning, you get out of bed, make it really nice, and feel that sense of accomplishment. And then a double dose of it is when you come home at the end of the night, or you come into your bedroom at the end of the night, it looks nice, and you see that you completed something. Even if the rest of the day kind of went south and you had a rough, bad day, you can always know, well, I did accomplish at least that one thing. And it's real. It does make a difference in your day.
Yep. So the other thing is music. What kind of music do you love? What kind of music really elevates your spirit, right? So putting some music on, doesn't matter what's happening around you. It doesn't matter, sometimes if we just need a moment to just kind of access that hormone, that happy, say we've dealt with something really frustrating and we just need a break, go ahead and listen to some music. It's an easy tool. Put some earphones in and take a couple minutes, listen to your favorite song, and I promise you'll feel better.
I often love worship music. I love to listen to worship music, and don't be afraid. Even like what Chantel said, what you can do in the bathroom is you can do even in the bathroom as well. Put on some music with some earbuds, some worship, take that 15-minute break. Some people at work get that break time. Well, instead of going to smoke, you can go and get some oxytocin, seriously. Mm-hmm. And one way you can do that is put on some worship music and then just go in the bathroom. And if you like to worship, I enjoy worshiping. I enjoy lifting my hands. So lift your hands, because again, that's also creating an energy of victory and strength. And so again, there's a lot of great things you can find through research that benefit you even in a power pose position. So listening to a good worship song, listening to something that motivates you and putting your hands up for 2 to 3 minutes is very, very beneficial to release some oxytocin. And when you release oxytocin, by the way, it actually reduces the hormone that causes fat.
Cortisol.
That's right.
Which is your stress hormone, right?
Yes. So
So it's
again,
the counter to the stress hormone, which is really powerful. So the more we're proactive in accessing the oxytocin, the more we're proactive in decreasing our cortisol level. Pretty cool. The other
good
thing
stuff.
is nature, right? So we talked about, maybe on your break, going outside and listening to music. The other thing is going and take your shoes and socks off and stand in the grass. Feel the earth in some form or fashion, right? Go for a walk in the forest, nature, something incorporating nature definitely elevates your spirit.
And there is a real science behind that of even taking your shoes off specifically, and even laying down, touching the earth, because it has to do with being grounded. It's an interesting fact, like even with electricity, right? When we study and learn electricity, there's and we are made up of electricity. Otherwise, your heart wouldn't be beating right now if you didn't have some sort of way. It's a little electric spark that keeps your heart beating. So when you're able to touch the ground, barefooted, bare hand or knees, or lay in water, lay in on the ground, you're actually grounding yourself, which is like completion of a circuit. So it is highly beneficial. There's even some studies and research out there where they say you should constantly stay grounded in some way or another. To an extent, we've known some people that will even ground their vehicles so that while they're traveling and driving, their vehicles are still connected and grounding, and they're connected and grounding to that vehicle. So it is a very powerful thing to release oxytocin and just bring a feeling of well-being and peace and tranquility for sure.
Yeah. Next is sunlight. Nice. Which we definitely felt this. So we're currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. Came here for an anniversary trip. We're also working. We were looking forward to some pool time, some we're by a lake, and it rained for like 2.5 days straight, and we were feeling it. We definitely were feeling that lull. There's something to be said about sunshine. So as soon as the sun peaked yesterday, we were out there.
What do they call that? June gloom in some places?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyways, we were out there, and it was still cloudy, here and there, but man, it felt so good to soak up some sun, even if it was only for a little while. Definitely elevated our mood for sure.
There's been a lot of people that live in places like Seattle where it rains and it's cloudy, and there's several days in a row where it just doesn't get sunny. And they literally have been prescribed by doctors to move, go somewhere like Arizona's a big sunny place, like places like Arizona, California, the Midwest that has plenty of sun, because it's real. Some people, again, you've got all these different ways of having the release of serotonin, but it is important to have it consistently. Oxytocin. Serotonin is another good one, but oxytocin, what we're talking about. And part of that is the sunlight. So it's a very practical way.
Yes. Next is petting animals. So anytime you get the opportunity to pet it, if you don't have a dog or a cat or bird, find a way. Go for a walk in the park and ask somebody, hey, can I pet your dog? You'll find that there's release of that oxytocin when you actually get to pet an animal. If you are a pet lover, hug them.
Yes, I'll tell you.
It's Carlos's favorite.
It is. But one of the things that just recently happened, and it got a ton of views, I went to visit Eric and Katrina Slabaugh, and they have a puppy farm. They raise some amazing puppies. They do an excellent job of that, some quality dogs. And I got the opportunity to go inside of one of their areas with all their puppies. And oh my gosh, it got videoed. These puppies were jumping all over me and licking me. And they have sharp nails too. So they were like scratching me, but I couldn't really feel it because the love of those puppies was just so overwhelming and so many of them. And a friend of mine captured it on video and we posted it. And it was super popular really fast because even that, watching people be loved on by an animal or another person and seeing that connection, that bond, also releases oxytocin by us seeing that experience and being able to feel it through a video or a movie, a good movie that connects you. And so it's really powerful to experience that as the person. These puppies, I mean, they were jumping all over me. I was sitting on the ground and they were licking me in the face, and it was really quite a cool experience. And I just felt so much joy and so much love during that experience. So I encourage you to try that sometime. It's really good.
Yes. Next on the list is aromatherapy. So many of you are familiar with essential oils. Rose being the highest frequency, but also lavender being the next one that is really powerful, that releases the oxytocin. And then there's gratitude, right?
Oh, yeah.
We talk about gratitude a lot, and we talk about how there's two types of attitudes, right? Entitlement or gratitude. There's nothing in between. If we are feeling down, we're probably operating from a place of entitlement somewhere, somehow. So we're allowing ourselves to feel frustrated, discontent, right? So if we are aware of it and can shift our mindset and start thinking about things that we're grateful for, then it actually literally shifts our attitude altogether.
Yes.
It's a really powerful way to access happy.
And it's definitely one of our core values here at Epic Your Life.
Mm-hmm.
We've created a process called Epic 30 minutes of connection. It involves the 3 C's of connection. It builds our confidence, it increases our communication skills, and it makes us want to be more committed to the relationships that we have.
Yeah.
And it's all through one of the major steps in that process is journaling to release, which also as well can give you a release and bring oxytocin, but also the gratitude. We declare the gratitudes, we write them out, and we declare them over each other, over ourselves, for God, self, and others, and it releases that. And then also the edification, what we call worthy, speaking life over someone, their dreams, their goals, their needs,
It's
their desires.
encouraging them.
That's right.
In what they're worthy of, right?
So and we have a gift for you. Go check it out. epicyourlife.com. It's completely free, no strings attached. You don't have to give your email or anything. Love for you to go there and check that out. That Epic 30 process is there, and you're able to download that PDF. All right.
All right. Next on the list is warm bath. How many of you, mostly women, take warm baths? I don't know why. Men like them too.
Man, I saw this one special about how CEOs, successful CEOs, will make time for warm baths with Epsom salt because it allows you to relax again and release so that you can receive good, innovative ideas as leaders.
Yeah, well, Epsom salt is a detoxer as well as a muscle relaxer. So it definitely makes sense that would be beneficial.
I do enjoy it. I do. It's the best bath.
It's not something you're aware of, I think, that you could probably.
I do need to do more of it, make time for it, right? Because you have to design it. We know that as well. But my favorite one is actually when I'm in the bathtub with Chantel. There's a lot of benefits to that. Just saying.
Moving right along. So group interactions, right? Group singing, socializing, anything that is encouraging a social interaction that is healthy and fun and vibrant is going to release oxytocin. Next one is forgiveness. Okay. When we are operating from a place of forgiveness, we're being intentional. What you're going to experience on a hormonal level is that joy. And
I want to mention here that another one of our core values and core activities is triggers to triumph. My wife Chantel, being an expert working with people for over 24 years, and helping them with their trauma, their hurts, their hangups, their addictions, to go from those things to victory, to triumph. And it takes doing the process of forgiveness. So again, on our website, epicyourlife.com, we have that process there. We'd love for you to be blessed by that, because forgiveness is a key element to having a more happy life.
Yes. Next on the list is dark chocolate.
Yes.
Carlos just recently did some research on dark chocolate. What'd you find?
Yeah. So one of the things I realized is, if I'm going to have the dark chocolate, I want it to be beneficial. But have you ever tried dark chocolate without any kind of sweetener in it? It's called cacao, or what is that called? Cocoa, or what is it, man? But it's like very chalky and strong. So of course, what can we sweeten it with that will be beneficial and healthy? And I did some research and found out that stevia. So Lily's dark chocolate, I think it's 70% or better, is the best beneficial. And then the sweetened with stevia is a great flavor, great taste, and good for you, and won't spike your blood sugar and cause all these issues that sugar will, or
Or even
artificial
sugar
sweeteners.
substitutes.
Yeah, artificial sweeteners are the worst. So stay away from them, seriously, because it causes insulin to be released, but nothing for it to attach to. So you're going to have health issues of obesity and issues as well with inflammation because of artificial sweeteners.
Yes. So the other thing on our list after talking with our legacy leadership was coffee. Some people think that coffee is, so I would encourage you that whatever it is, if it's a hot cup of tea, everybody has their individual thing. What brings that joy to you?
It's good.
I love coffee. So, I would definitely opt for coffee over tea. But so whatever it is that definitely feeds that in your spirit.
Super comforting, right? Comfort
Yes.
foods. Like, I would say one of my favorite things once a year is when we go down to the orphanage in Mexico and they feed us tamales. Oh, tamales are full flour and things that I don't normally eat. Corn. Yes, yeah, right, exactly. Corn. And will spike your insulin big time as well. So I stay away from that stuff. But once a year, it's so comforting and such nostalgia to eat that comforting food. And it feels super good to eat. It reminds me of my grandmother who's passed away, my grandmother Compost, who used to make incredible tamales, and reminds me of my dad who passed away, like the whole Compost family. I just connect it and relate it. Plus, I'm in Mexico when I'm eating it, so there's a lot of nostalgia there. So that connection with the orphans, giving of your time is another way to go give and bless others, serve others. Mm-hmm. It releases oxytocin.
Yes. Awesome. So those are a good list to pull from. So I want to encourage you, of that list, take 3 that you can actually put into practice. The second you feel frustrated, the second you feel down, you recognize you're like, wow, I'm kind of in a bad mood, or really not feeling too hot. Definitely don't feel joy right now. What can I do? What action can I take to release the hormone in my body, right? You have the power.
Do it today.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Seriously, do it today. Change your state. Go do something. You've got a list now. What are your 3 favorite? We'd love to hear from you and hear maybe you have some other ideas or other things that you do that brings you happiness and joy and releases that oxytocin. Will you share with us your 3 favorites? Post it in the comments below, and let's continue to share happiness and continue to share ideas of becoming more and more happy.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you join us next week right here for our community mentorship.
Yes. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.